I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Monday.
Why can't I vote for the kicker?
If there's ever a day that should be a day off, it's the day after the Super Bowl. And there's two aspects of that. One, there's so much to talk about the day after the Super Bowl. So if you run a talk radio show, well, it's a gold mine. We're going to dive into all of this, how the game went, the Super Bowl halftime show, all this stuff, the future of the Denver Broncos. You can cover all of it today, which we'll happily dive into. But goodness, what a day. You might need a little day to recover. and Billy and I are both as sober as a nun on Sunday.
Yeah.
But
we both were talking before the show, just like, and I didn't drink anything. I'm like, that's funny because all day I kept looking over going, yeah, I could, no. And just the entire day I kept just, no, I just don't feel. I just wasn't in the mood. And so didn't touch a drop alcohol. It's still tired as heck.
That's right. And it's just because it's you have church in the morning, then you got all the family activities, and you're feeding people and running this. And I got the wings from Wingstop, and you're out there doing everything, and then you got the whole game, the analysis of the game, the commercials, the halftime show, the game itself. You finally go to bed around 10:30, and it's Monday morning.
Yeah, and then I was cooking in shifts yesterday because, well, just our air fryer, we can't do a ton of wings at once, and so I was doing them in shifts. So it was like, first round, here's pizza and wings. Then a little while later, more wings would appear. A little while later, more pizza and wings. And so it's kind of like grazing over the entire game. Definitely not healthy, but it was delicious.
Oh, yeah. And then you got to go work it out and get that fat off.
It's on my plan today. Oh, my God. No. What a game. We'll talk about it with Blake and stuff, too, though. But wow.
Yep, absolutely. We'll dive into all of it. We want to hear directly from you. What did you think of that halftime show? Which one did you watch? I watched both of them, but out of protest, turned off the TV, turned back on YouTube, and we watched the Turning Point USA halftime show. It was fantastic. Thought they did a great job. Congratulations, Turning Point. Millions of people watching that. They went back over and watched Bad Bunny, so I can provide some context analysis of what that interesting halftime show was. And then maybe you're like Blake Olson, you went for a walk instead.
Yeah, maybe.
Protesting both of them. So want to hear directly from you. What did you think? 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Capitalist Law text line at 720-819-5115. We're going to be joined by Justin Folk later in the show to dive into those Super Bowl commercials. I ticked off a good portion of X yesterday, Bill.
Uh-oh, what'd you do?
Well, I had this great mob watching Charlie Puth and the
I was afraid you were going to say that ranch is better for wings than blue cheese.
Yeah, no.
Because that's heresy. That's fighting words. But yeah,
really? Oh my
blue
God.
Blue cheese is so much better than ranch for wings. It has to do with how the blue cheese interacts with the hotness of the wings. If you're just doing the barbecue stuff, if you're doing the little stuff, that's fine. Then do the ranch. That's okay. We'll pat you on your head and say, good little kid. That's fine. But if you need the spicy stuff, the blue cheese is where it's at. But that's okay.
We'll get into
that later.
But right after the national anthem, you had the flyover. I mean, I think Puth was in tears. And by the way, I follow Charlie Puth online. It's pretty fun to follow on Instagram.
Fantastic.
He's kind of like a musical genius. And you have this great patriotic moment. Cut to some guy being choked with a bag over his head, and then the person hiding behind walls with knives coming through. And I'm like going, come on. Come on. Really? Yeah. You couldn't have placed another ad anywhere in between? It was so tone deaf in my mind. But we'll get into Super Bowl commercials with Justin Folk, director of an award-winning Super Bowl commercial later in the 9 o'clock hour. Michael Allen, DA of El Paso County, is going to join us. Dude was the one that prosecuted the 191 body case that we offended everybody on Friday with.
So I will not talk about it. I'm sorry. I will not, because we're eating. So.
Michael Allen will join us to talk about the sentencing. How much time is that guy going to be serving? We'll get into all of that. You remember the name of the funeral home?
Oh, yeah, it's Return to Earth or something like that.
Return to nature.
Yeah, nature. That's it. Yeah, right. I remember that one. Yes, which technically they were doing, just not in the way they were advertising. It's kind of false advertising there.
Now it's time for the news.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good morning. Monday, 36 with cloudy conditions in Denver, 37 in the Springs. Expecting highs in the upper 60s today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, we'll start with it. Seahawks win Super Bowl 60, 29-13. Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker earned a Super Bowl MVP honors, 160 total yards in the 29-13 victory over the Patriots. Walker became just the 8th running back in league history to win the MVP. As 135 yards rushing were the most by a player in Super Bowl history since TD. Terrell Davis.
157.
1998, the greatest Super Bowl of all time. Super Bowl 32. So,
By the way, I heard after Terrell Davis had that Super Bowl, that night he didn't even go out to celebrate. He was so exhausted. He just went back to the hotel room and went to bed.
That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Super Bowl 33, all of them did. The next year, none of them, they're like, okay, we're done with this. This is a business trip. Knew we were going to beat the Falcons. Yep, that's true. One of the funny things my 15-year-old said during the game, Dad, he's only 25 and he's bald. And I go, so is Terrell Davis. He's going to be the MVP. Because that game was, I mean, you know, both defenses, great defenses, but that was not obviously an entertaining Super Bowl to watch last night. But you do what you got to do.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this, gentlemen. Why shouldn't the kicker be the Super Bowl MVP? You couldn't even vote for the guy.
I know. One of my kids was so mad. I mean, yelling at the phone in the fourth quarter of the game, going, I can't vote for the kicker? This is a bunch of crap. Why can't I vote for the... And he's like, dude has the most points. They're like, who deserves it more? Yeah. And he's got me, literally gets up at one point, leaves the couch, and is like, if dude doesn't kick those field goals, Seattle's going to lose. What the hell's going on? And so he's getting so mad, and I'm like, he's got a point. And the more angry he gets, the more I'm like, the more I understand what he's doing. Yeah, he had a point.
It would ruin the league. It already. I mean, that's the problem. They're too good. Kickers are really just too good. So the entire game is about getting inside the, 45-yard line.
Yeah.
And we'll play it safe and play conservative and
Blake, think about what you just said. We can't vote for the guy because he's too good?
Yeah, because they're too good and they score too many points.
We can't vote for the kicker for MVP because he's too good.
I think
scores too many points.
I think it would have been funny though if he was the MVP with Bad Bunny there, because all those Latin fans that don't watch the NFL and they're watching the halftime, and a kicker wins the MVP when Bad Bunny is entertaining at halftime. How perfect! The least football esque player wins the MVP when Bad Bunny is entertaining at halftime.
All these soccer fans are watching.
Yes.
Maybe it is our sport.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. I can't tell you how many people who are non-football fans, honestly, that I know, family and friends, that don't know anything about football. And they're like, that was an amazing kick. He's the kicker. Okay. We don't care about kickers. We don't acknowledge kickers unless they're George Blanda and they played quarterback and kicked. I mean, it's great. Jason Elam was an awesome kicker for the Denver Broncos. I mean, all these guys are great kickers. They are. But it's It's not football. It's just okay. We got in field goal position. Then when the little guy misses the field goal, he's the GOAT. Everything just relies on that. Oh man, but that would have been great if he would have been named the MVP. I think that would have been.
I think it's sad that they don't even let you vote for him. It's not like they give you a
No,
list
that
that you can
is
put in there.
bad.
They pre-choose the several people they want, and then they're like, you don't even get to choose. At least there are things in
so
in professional soccer where the entire team is opened up for man of the match. Everybody is open. They don't pre-select 3 or 4 people. I mean, you have to get to the Ballon d'Or in order to get to that kind of thing. But yeah, at least they let you pick anybody that's on the field. Yeah,
I think if there was a straight-on kicker, old school, then you should be allowed to vote for him for MVP. But soccer-style kickers,
Well, the problem is the straight-on kick doesn't work. The physics behind it is flawed.
Yeah, you're right.
And so you can't
Makes
get as
it
far.
more difficult.
Yeah, you can't get as far. So you've got to do the soccer style. Yeah, you have
That's
to.
why
It's part of the
Dempsey's kick was incredible.
Oh, yeah, it was.
I mean, 63 yards straight on.
Oh, it's
had
nuts.
half of a foot. That's what made it even more beautiful.
Oh, it's nuts. Yeah, the fact that he got that far on a straight-on approach is absolutely ridiculous. I just don't understand. Dude scored the most points. And he can't be the MVP. What kind of crap is that?
I mean,
I agree, Bill. I agree entirely with you on this one.
It's funny
I like
because
this.
all the people in my life that don't understand football, mostly women. I mean, it is pretty funny because it's impossible to explain. Look, yes, all those points count, and they go toward winning a football game. And he did what he was supposed to do, but no, we don't like him and we don't care about him. He's not important. But he has a jersey and a helmet, and his name is on the roster, and he has all these graphics up on the screen, and most points scored. Yeah, we don't care about him. It would ruin the league if they named him the MVP.
And here's why I sort of agree with you on that. Because it would be an admission that this person that doesn't play except for this very special area actually has an ability to score a lot of points and impact the game. All the other people that line up there and hit the weight room and smash face and everybody else and all the injuries and stuff. You got a little dude that trots out there and doesn't even need a face mask. And he's the guy that can score the most points on the team. That's
exactly.
It kind of like rips
So
off the
funny.
the illusion of scoring inside of football. So I get it. I understand why he can't be the MVP, but he should be.
It is confusing for people who don't understand the game, and then you try to explain why it's called football.
Yeah, and they go, I have no idea. Like, you're weird people.
All right, here's the MVP. Let's hear from him, Kenneth Walker.
We worked at it all week, last week, this week, and we worked on a run game, and we knew that was going to make an impact on this game, and, I give all the credit to those guys.
Sounds like a decent kid. Mike McDonald, the head coach.
I had 100% confidence. We got the best teams. 12 is one. Mob ties. We got the.
Hold on. So it's required. I don't watch post game either. I don't watch pregame. I don't watch postgame. I don't watch halftime. But I told my family, my wife and her best friend, she's in town, and they're like, "You're not gonna watch the postgame, all the celebrate?" No, because he's gonna say we got the best fans in the world. So they were laughing because it didn't take him long.
Best fans in the world, 12s. Look how many 12s.
Oh, the 12s, the 12th.
It's always we have the best fans in the world.
Yeah.
This team believes in each other. We're a brotherhood.
Yes.
We proved all the haters wrong.
Yes,
we rose
no
to
one
the
believed in
occasion.
us.
Nobody believed in us. I mean, we could pre-write this entire speech afterwards.
Yes, we could.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's the same thing in soccer.
Yes, right.
So I can write those speeches too. Yeah.
And basketball.
Yep, exactly.
And probably hockey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let him finish, though.
12s are in this stadium right now.
Oh, my God. The 12s are in the stadium right now. Oh, yeah, about half the stadium was, probably 30% of the stadium was 12s. The 12th man. 12th man.
We never wavered, man. We believed in each other. We loved each other. And now we're world champions.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I just want to see the one time in which they interview the losers, And, the guy's like, yeah, we had this game plan, but then Steve screwed it up. We had that one play, and it's all week we've been talking about it. Steve, better not blow this. And then he does that thing, and then our stupid kicker, and you see our damn punter. This was just, we thought, we believed, and nope, we didn't. We had this conversation last night, and we were like, guys, we're probably going to lose this one. And we were right. I just need that. I need that post game from the losers at one point. Just one time.
Too.
Yeah. Just
I
one
need
time.
the head coach to go, we have the best fans in the NFL, the best owners. No one believing in us, and yes, our kicker should have been the MVP, but we don't vote for MVPs kickers as MVPs.
Or have Mike Vrabel come out there and go, yeah, I was telling them the Hunt family the entire season we needed a couple more players as wide receivers, and look, I told him I was right. See if we get this thing right the next year. I need that. I need that interview at the end of the game. Or if you fans would have just cheered louder, I'm looking at you, looking up the stands. If you guys were louder, maybe we'd win.
That would be a lot more entertaining.
Yes, it would.
Could we see the interview with Josh McDaniels? Because that would have been good.
That would have been
How
really good.
great was that? Josh, I only appreciate Josh for one thing.
Yeah, what?
And that is the drafting of Tim Tebow.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
he got that one right. He got that one right. Other than that, it was beautiful to watch that shellacking.
Yeah, it was.
It's so funny when you say McDaniels. Like I'm so programmed to think McDamage because I knew a few people in the organization. They called him McDamage. I can't. When you say McDaniels, funny. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I know you enjoyed that when they drafted Tebow. Hey, do what you got to do.
And
Greatest moments of sports history.
Yeah, and I love the fact that McDaniels didn't have a solution. He's, again, intelligent, very intelligent offensive mind. Didn't have a solution for the Seattle game plan. And Seattle just sometimes out-blitzed them and out-schemed them over and over and over again. And then you got to enjoy the ones, a couple of the sacks where big dude on the defensive line just pushes the offensive lineman back into Drake May and then just grabs Drake May like, hi, beating you here, conk. I mean, he's still being blocked and grabs hold of Drake May. You're like,
I mean, unfortunately, this is what happens every Super Bowl. But the defensive line, those guys, they should have been the MVP.
Oh, heck yeah, they should.
All of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an outstanding performance. They were incredible.
I mean, Drake May, 23 years old in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that type of pressure at 23?
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable.
And he needed to get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
Much earlier. God, he was holding on to the ball long.
I know three of the people in this conversation, or of the three people in this conversation right now, two of us are really strong Bronco fans. Blake is persuadable, but we still love him. The thing is, I spent a little bit of time yesterday going, ooh, I'm so glad we're not in here with the Broncos.
Yeah,
there are a couple of times I'm like, I'm real glad. I saw a couple of those blitches and went, oh,
yes.
I know. Yes. I don't want any part of that on the national stage like this. No part. No way.
I think it would have been uglier. Absolutely.
I kept thinking,
poor as he played.
Guys, I brought that up. I was like, are you sure you want to win and head to the Super Bowl without Bo Nix? And
sure.
You still go.
That would have been a national embarrassment.
I would have loved to. Well, I just appreciate the fact that it was the Patriots that was embarrassed rather than the Broncos, and so it was. But watching that Seahawks defense up close and what they were doing, I'm like, ooh,
it would have been.
And we would have needed Bo Nix to have a shot. Stidham, no. There's no. I think it would have been close to about the same type of a score, etc. Can we get 7 on them? Probably, maybe seven. But no. With Bo Nix, I think we could have scored a few more, but we still would have been shellacked.
But once again, Jeff, of course you want to go to the Super Bowl, even with
still
Stidham.
like to be there. Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
Just because.
Because you just never know.
Yeah.
You
also,
just never know.
Congratulations to all of our Patriots fans. Y'all are now a record holder, most losses ever in Super Bowl history. Congratulations. You're the GOATs. As a Broncos fan, I like that a lot. You've lost more than anybody else.
0970 texting in. Guys, the NFL's listening. If you figure out the kickers are important, then the refs can't throw the flags when Mahomes gets sneezed on.
Okay. I like that. The thing we have this thing in our house where we talk about the idea that you're not allowed in the NFL to touch the special little boy who is the quarterback. You can't touch the special boy on the field. He's different than everybody else, and he has to be treated better than everybody else because he's the special kid. Yeah. And what we were surprised with in the first half, there are a number of plays that if we would have just jumped in the Wayback Machine like 2 weeks ago, it would have been offensive pass interference or defensive pass interference over and over and over again. Yep. The number of non-calls on pass interference when it was you just had to basically reach out and lightly brush the guy with your hand, and it was offensive or defensive pass interference during the playoffs. And now there was one where it was a Seahawk. And it was if you're sitting there, and it's right side of the field if you're sitting behind the line with the Seahawks, and it goes over towards the end zone, right hand side, and the Patriot doesn't even really turn around while the ball's in the air until it almost gets there, but he has most of his body over the other guy's hands.
Yeah.
Holding him from getting his hands up. And I'm like, hey. Hey. I remember a couple of calls went against us, and I got a couple of calls that went for us. Exactly that situation. But nothing. Not even
a break, and they forget everything.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they were letting them play.
Yeah, they were.
There's no doubt. They had an idea they weren't going to score, evidently. I don't know.
Evidently not, yeah.
Paid anti-ice protesters held demonstrations outside Levi's Stadium during Super Bowl Sunday. Organizers staged an ice-out protest with hundreds of people marching around and calling lawmakers not to give new funding to DHS. They probably won in that one, the anti-ice protesters, because they didn't have to watch the game. So,
were you guys expecting a little anti-ice message from Bad Bunny yesterday?
I was. I mean, I didn't watch it, but
you went for a walk.
I did, and it was beautiful. Made some cheeseburgers, grilled them. It was a beautiful night. Didn't watch any of that garbage, and it made it better. No, I didn't. I didn't expect that, but I mean,
I didn't, only because all of this normally has to be vetted, and. So we remember the Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake issue. That wasn't something that was in the run-through. There was things that were there as far as choreography, but that didn't happen in the run-through. And I kind of felt that the people around Bad Bunny would tell him, no, take the win. Because if you get out there and you do anything that is political, you will just be proving everybody that said you shouldn't be there right. And so don't do anything. So I was surprised. I thought that he may take something right at the end, some sort of a statement or anything else. But no, I think that his handlers got to him and just said, here you go. Go ahead and just take the fact that you are there and going to have one of the most viewed Super Bowl halftime shows ever as the win. You don't have to make any other statements after that. So, yeah.
Yeah. How was the other one, Jeff? I mean, Kid Rock is awesome.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. It was well produced. Obviously, it wasn't a stadium, but it was very well done. Congratulations to Turning Point for putting this on, because you have to remember when Bad Bunny originally got selected, he was talking. You remember he went on Saturday Night Live, said you have 4 months to learn Spanish, and was very divisive. It goes to the Grammys, says ice out, very political, doesn't seem to be a uniting figure. Here's the single most watched event in America each year is the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl organizers pick some guy who's naturally divisive. He's going to do the entire thing in Spanish. And so I thought Turning Point was right to go, let's get back to embracing a unifying message around the greatness of America. And I thought they achieved that. Kid Rock did kind of a gospel message at one point. So it turned out well. Congratulations.
Entertaining?
Yeah.
What was it, an hour or half hour?
Or what 20 minutes maybe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
About 3 songs from each of the artists.
Okay.
And then it was right back to the Super Bowl. If you cut over and then came back to the game, you missed the first 3 minutes of the third quarter. So that was about it.
Real quickly, and then I'll move on really fast here. And Billy, this is what drives me nuts. Bad Bunny, okay, all these guys, it doesn't matter if it's Bad Bunny or Jay-Z or whoever. But you listen to it, and all of it is just pre-produced garbage. You like it if you're at a club and you're dancing or whatever, or you're in your car and you're in your hoopty and you're 20 years old or whatever. But Bad Bunny has nothing to do with the bass and the percussion and the synthesizers and the beat. It's just all. There's no talent going on there. I mean, where is the talent? What is he doing?
I would disagree because I know that you're a hip-hop fan. Mm-hmm. That was the argument early on with Run DMC, with Full Force, with Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, with Melly Mel. That UTFO, that was the argument. They're just taking other people's beats and samples and throwing it down. You go back to Push It by Salt and Peppa. Oh, my God. The layers of old school R&B and rock that are in those is fantastic. That entire hook, push it, that comes from a different song. It's a totally different song. The bass line in the song's a totally different song, too.
Absolutely.
So that was the argument back in the day for hip-hop and rap. They're not creating their own. They're just using beats and samples other people have created and then putting it over the top. Yeah, but that's the same argument here with Bad Bunny, is that Bad Bunny's not doing anything. Which, again, we could make the same argument with Vince Neil sitting in front of Motley Crue. Great lead singer. Dude doesn't play a damn instrument.
Point.
Doesn't play
but
damn instruments.
I guess there are no musicians. There's no musicians. The
problem I have is it depends on how we define musician. And once you get into the electronic world, I think it becomes a little more difficult to define. And I push back on this because I think it's much easier at times to program things into a computer than it is to physically create the sounds coming through a guitar or a piano, which is where most of these things start. Right. I think it's much more creative the other way, doing it the tactile way, than doing it the electronic way. But I can't fault the number of other artists out there that have done so much with all sorts of electronic, production. Everybody from Lady Gaga, you can roll through New Order, you can get to Depeche Mode, you can get to the Chainsmokers are nothing but programming guys, and they've had huge hits. So that's the thing. It's hard. It's a hard balance. I did appreciate there were some live performances, though, live performers on the field with Bad Bunny during part of it, which was, there's some things. Yeah. And we'll talk about it later on. There were some things. Gaga pops up, Ricky Martin pops up, and a wedding happened there on the field.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
You could talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, though.
All right, I want to hear that. All right, Denver police asking for help locating a vehicle used in a hit and run on I-25. Investigators say the blue Dodge Challenger hit a white sedan while changing lanes on January 20th. The crash happened on I-25 North near 8th Avenue and caused the sedan to hit a concrete wall. The driver of the sedan and two children were seriously injured. Call Metro Denver Crime Stoppers. A teen boy died over the weekend after being involved in a hit-and-run accident in Thornton. Police Chief Jim Baird says that he was riding a motorized bike near Thornton Parkway and Huron Street. The driver was speeding when he hit the body from behind. The boy from behind. Officials say the teen was sent to the hospital where he later died. The driver has been located and is in custody. Members of Congress can examine unredacted Epstein files starting today.
Members of Congress will be able to access unredacted versions of more than 3 million pages of documents compiled as part of the investigation into sex trafficking by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Access to the files is limited to business hours at the DOJ. The Justice Department is still not letting Congress see approximately 2.5 million more pages that so far have been completely withheld. I'm Rory O'Neill.
All right, the Cavaliers at the Nuggets tonight, 37 in the Springs, 36 in Denver. More of the Jeff and Bill Show coming up on News Talk 710 KNUS in Denver, and now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer in Colorado Springs, all along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill Show. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 710 KNUS forecast this early Monday. Clear skies, temperatures around 35 as you start the day. For the rest of your Monday, looking more like spring with sunshine, highs around 65. Cloudy tonight, lows in the lower 30s. Cloudy and cool with showers on Tuesday, highs near 50. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. News Talk 710 KNUS in Denver.
And now proudly on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
Along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill Show. We want to give plenty of time for this, so feel free to dive in.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the halftime show? What did you think of the Super Bowl? What did you think of the Broncos not being there? All this stuff. Would love to hear from you. Today is the analysis day of what happened and probably America's biggest cultural moment each year. This is the most watched event on television every single year.
Yeah, in America, absolutely.
Yeah. In America, this is the big one. So did you get a chance to watch it? Which halftime show did you go to watch?
Yeah, I'm curious
What did
about
you
that.
think of that? I'll have Bill describe the Bad Bunny one coming up. I'll describe the Turning Point one. And I've got a poll at x.com/Jeff Hunt. Who did it better? Bad Bunny or Turning Point USA? Go to x.com/Jeff Hunt if you want to dive into that conversation. All right, let's talk Dan Caplis with Dan Caplis Law. Dan suggests that you should choose a lawyer who shares your values because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan Caplis is the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Dan Caplis Law, the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call, 303-770-5551, 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show on Denver's News Talk Leader, 710 KNUS in Denver.
And now joining AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. All on the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show, Denver's news talk leader, 710 KNUS.
And now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
Along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show. Billy, I'm having a hard time understanding the text messages here.
Are they in Spanish?
No, they're in English. We have a new official language in America, Spanish. I don't know if you know that, because you were just supposed to sit there and understand and celebrate our new official language yesterday. So Jay from Louisville, he's texting in English. I don't quite understand it. All right, Billy, describe Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show.
Basically, it was an homage to growing up in Puerto Rico. It starts off in a sugarcane field and goes through very typical things growing up in that community and in that area that you would bump into. People playing dominoes, those side stands selling drinks and food. You get into there's a small house that's kind of a community at one point. There are two different versions of stores, kind of like bodegas, and it was kind of just a reflection on the experience and the lifestyle, which is pretty much what Bad Bunny said he was going to do. He was going to celebrate the Latin community and their contributions to America and society and and he said he was going to bring a big party. It was a heck of a lot of dancing. So much dancing. There was at one point a real live wedding that happened on stage. They actually confirmed that after the performance that yes, those two were actually doing their real life nuptials there on stage. Part of the way through, Lady Gaga shows up, does Die With a Smile, which is the hit from the Joker movie that was big with Bruno Mars. Bruno's not there, but she does it in kind of a salsa flair and then dances with Bad Bunny for a little while. There's a whole bunch of other images. One of the ones I thought was shocking was them up on power poles. And it was really
What was that about?
Well, my guess is it was a couple of different things. One, it gave people an excuse. You had to get verticality in the dancers, and then they could go and drop down and up and down and do the Cirque du Soleil thingy. So I think that's just really what it was. But the power lines, I'm guessing, are more of the idea of the blue-collar workers, more of the idea that they come here and are doing some of that blue-collar work. And these are jobs in which we would have seen our dads, our moms, our uncles, our people in our community hold over the course of years. But it was an interesting visual, and it allowed sparks too.
Well, AI is saying that it was a powerful protest against the chronic energy infrastructure failures in Puerto Rico.
Okay, sure. Again, if that's a powerful protest, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you can talk to some other people that are doing the anti-ice stuff outside the stadium and talk about more power. But I don't know.
Yeah, where was that yesterday? Green Day takes the stage.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny, no, nothing. No mention.
Well, Green Day, yeah, they did.
Did they? I didn't catch it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because NBC cut it off.
Okay.
Yeah, was watching, and all of a sudden there was a sharp cut, and I went, uh-oh. They said something, and my son was like, who's a huge Green Day fan, he's like, no, I'm not sure. What did they say? I'm like, oh, yeah, they're going to say something. You know they're going to. And it came out a little while later that, yeah, they said some stuff, and part of it came
What'd they say?
I believe the statement was something like, they're talking to ICE agents, you don't have to do this job, you can quit, you can do something like that. They went on for a little rant. But that's who they are, and I would expect that. I would expect people that live in the punk community, absolutely, that's what you're supposed to do in that type of scenario. You're not part of the man and the machine. So I can honor that, but again, whoever booked them, you should have known that. You should have known that. Booking them, you should have known that.
Doesn't this just fulfill the critique that conservatives have about these types of artists? I mean, the critique against Bad Bunny wasn't that he was Latino, because we've had Latino performers before. Shakira did a fine job and stuff. Is that they're all political and that they all get up on their stage and bash America when they get a chance to. And this is like the moment that you have more Americans together watching a moment than anything else that we do all year long. And you hand the stage to what, conservatives and Americans have helped build what football is, and then you hand it to the stage. These people that just bash the thing.
But I didn't see anything inside of the halftime show where Bad Bunny bashed football or America. That's the issue. They didn't. That's Green Day prior to. They're doing something about an hour before.
Bad Bunny does this everywhere. He goes to the Grammys, he does Ice Out, he goes to Saturday Night Live. You better learn to speak Spanish.
But the issue is,
America last with these guys.
No. The issue is his performance at the Super Bowl, not his behavior or statements outside of the Super Bowl. The issue and the critique is, did he show up? And at the Super Bowl, did he do all that other stuff that everybody gets mad at him at? And the answer to that is no. And the people that did make an anti-ICE statement were the American-born rock stars that came from the state that the Super Bowl was being played in. How many times in this run-up to the Super Bowl did we say, how come they couldn't find people from California that are good American English-speaking rock stars to do this? Well, you found some. Green Day. And they were the ones that were overtly political, not the Spanish-speaking Puerto Rican that was doing the halftime show.
Yeah, but you had to be reined in. I mean, look at this. NBC.
We don't know that.
Yeah, we do. We absolutely know that because everywhere else he goes, he's all political. Green Day, NBC had to cut an aspect of Green Day's performance.
Yes.
They sat there. They knew.
Yes.
They sat there and they're like, okay, all right, here we go. Oh, there he is. Cut. And then they press the little button and cuts it off.
Yeah.
And with Bad Bunny, you even pointed this out. They all sat down with the NFL, and
That's
the
my
NFL
thought.
had to explain to Bad Bunny why he can't run out there with ICE agents, portrayed as Nazis, and run his whole political performance. You know he wanted to do that.
Hang on a
He was
sec.
begging to do that.
No.
He was
We have-
itching
we
to
have-
use
no.
this moment
No.
to drive his political agenda.
No.
And thank God enough conservatives spoke out against it and kept this guy in check.
No, what you're doing right now is wish casting. You're assuming a whole bunch of things that we don't have anything backing up. Do I believe that absolutely anything? No. Do I believe that there is a conversation between the NFL, between the broadcasters and Bad Bunny as far as what's allowed? Yes. But some of that, in fact, I would argue that a majority of that comes from the nakedness that Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake did on stage. Had zero to do with an anti-USA stance.
Zero?
Wait, hang on a second.
Zero? Game Day? Or
What I'm saying is this.
Green Day.
No, what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is the conversation, the reason it started about what you can and can't do on stage has zero to do with whether or not you're anti-American. The germ of that starts with the nakedness that happened on stage. So there is obviously an expectation of performance conversation that goes on between the NFL, the broadcasters, and the performer. That's it. So your idea that Bad Bunny was dying to have Nazis, ICE agents portrayed as Nazis marching on the stage, you're wish casting. You have no information other than...
No information.
You have
Everywhere
none.
this guy goes, he talks about how terrible ICE is.
Where else?
And these
No,
guys
he
are
doesn't.
all
Not everywhere else.
anti-American.
Not
They all
everywhere else.
hate America, and we continue to platform these guys on the greatest moment where all of America comes together. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Where was this anti-American? Where was this anti-American? Where was the anti-American statement?
Green Day, with its anti-ICE
The
statements
issue was
and all that
Bad
stuff.
Bunny being all bad, and you didn't even hear until I told you what happened. You didn't even know about
Thank
Green
God,
Day.
because
You
NBC had to
didn't
cut
even
it
know.
up. That's
Here's the
because
idea.
NBC had to sit there. They knew what was coming.
That's in any broadcast. You
They
run on a delay in
could
any
have
broadcast.
taken some country music stars, some people that love America. Turning Point was exactly right to platform these guys to go, this is what unity looks like. You don't need to put these people that hate our country up all the time and platform them when we have all these other artists that love to bring people together.
Nobody remembers who the opening concert was in any Super Bowl. Tell me who it was last year, the year before, the year before. No, that's a throwaway. And I told you beforehand that if someone was going to do it, it was going to be Green Day. We talked about that last year. Said if you were going to bet in Vegas who was going to get off the chain and do something, it was going to be Green Day because of where they were in the program and because of who they were. And it's not going to be Bad Bunny. And you're wish casting about what you think Bad Bunny went. He proved every single one of y'all wrong that said he was going to go out there and do this big anti-American protest.
Only because conservatives spoke up and the NFL kept him in check.
He proved you wrong.
8422 texting in. Green Day's a joke. They've always been a make-believe punk band.
Yeah, I know. They're one of the largest selling bands of all time. Go right ahead. That's when your band sells that many
but
albums.
Are you really
come back.
punk rock if you're
they're
the
pop punk.
most
They're pop.
selling?
No,
Well, isn't that
they are pop
that
punk?
Make-believe punk?
No, they're pop punk. That is a genre. That is an absolute genre, and they are non-apologetic about it. That is how they've cast themselves. Offspring is pop punk.
Joan wants to know why Billy, he didn't wear a dress. Why didn't Bad Bunny wear the dress?
I don't know, but here's the idea. Think about that. All those bad thoughts you had about him didn't come true. All those things that you were certain last week Bad Bunny was going to do, he didn't do.
Why?
All those things that you were mad about,
why?
He didn't do. Here's the idea, though. All of your pearl clutching, all of being scared, came to nothing.
Why?
I don't know. I'm assuming
Billy,
some of
when
it.
he doesn't have those constrictions on him, he runs out there and does ice out and better
Not
learn to
necessarily.
speak Spanish and all that stuff. 100%.
Not necessarily.
When
He had a
he's
very
in his
positive-
own little
he had a very
space
positive
and no
message
one
there.
puts any restrictions on him, he becomes anti-American, anti-ice. It was because of the
You're just wish
NFL
casting.
restrictions.
You're wish casting.
And the
last week
conservative
it was
critique.
And last week it was, oh, he's going
Where's
to do
the
all this
dress?
stuff. And now none of that happened. And now you've got to retcon this. Because none of the stuff that you said was going to happen actually happened. Now you got to retcon it and go back.
America
You got to
should
remake
be
the statement.
thanking the conservatives.
Got to remake the
All right,
statement.
Let's talk Ashboss Center for Therapy. If pain's slowing you down, you deserve care that's focused on you, not a crowded physical therapy clinic where you bounce between clinicians. At Ashboss Center for Therapy, every visit is one-on-one with a licensed physical therapist in a private treatment room, so you can get their full attention from start to finish. The barriers that are keeping you from seeking help from chronic back pain, joint stiffness, or recovery from surgery are erased at Ashboss Center for Therapy because they do things differently. Your care starts with a conversation, not exercises. In fact, a hands-on manual therapy approach is a key importance in their services. Bill, tell me more.
That's one of the important parts about Ashboss Center for Therapy. That's why we're happy to partner with them, is because when you show up there, it is a one-on-one treatment. It is not the idea that there are 7 other people that they're just sitting there and checking on. They've got 3 other people that showed up before you, and they're in various stages of exercise, and they got to check on them and come back and give you your homework for a couple of minutes and make sure you do all the stretches, and they come back and then maybe manipulate one joint for a little bit and then go check on someone else. That's not what this is. This is a one-on-one private and personal treatment, consultation, and session. So it's about a conversation where you sit down with the professionals at Ashboss Center for Therapy and they listen. How have you been doing since last week? What has been going well? What hasn't been? And then all of the treatment that is absolutely hands-on manual therapy, a very targeted approach where they are guiding you and helping your body back into alignment, is focused entirely on what hurts. Those barriers you've had in your life, the back pain, joint stiffness, the surgery recovery, those don't have to be barriers anymore. And all you've got to do, contact our friends at the Ashboss Center for Therapy. They proudly accept Medicare along with most other insurances. No rushing, no distractions, just the personalized care you've been looking for. Call them today, 303-756-3388, 303-756-3388. Jeff will tell you how to find them online. And it is, he doesn't have that in front of him. So I'm going to tell you it's ashbawpt.com. Visit ashbawpt.com. Schedule your evaluation, 303-756-3388 or ashbawpt.com. Ashbaw Center for Therapy. Personal, private, focused on you.
More of the Jeff and Bill Show coming up. News Talk 710, KNUS in Denver.
And now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show.
News Talk 710 KNUS in Denver.
And now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. Lessons in time management.
We're going to get to YouTube's news at the top of the hour, but Billy and I already jumping in, and the text messages are so hot.
Yeah, they are.
I watched Turning Point halftime show. ILJ texting in. I hadn't heard that Gabby Barrett before, and she was wonderful. Seemed like a natural kind of, like Reba. Yeah, she did great. I didn't know really anyone other than Kid Rock, but I knew all their songs. So when they sang them, I was like, oh, I know that song. I've heard that song before. Whereas over with Bad Bunny, I thought my TV was stuck on SAP.
Thing is, I watch a lot of soccer games in Spanish, too, so not unusual for me.
Get
Just
used
saying.
to it. The new language requirements are coming. No, what did you think? Would love for you to be a part of the conversation. Jump in. Which one did you watch? And who did it better, Bad Bunny or Turning Point? My poll at x.com/Jeff Hunt, 96.5% saying Turning Point USA did it better than Bad Bunny. Feel free to jump in and be a part of the conversation. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710, KNUS in Denver.
And now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. We'll be right back.